Hi there, I'm Jenny with Roots and Wings Furniture, and today's tutorial is all about using General Finishes milk paint to refinish cabinets. I get questions all the time as to if General Finishes milk paint is a good product on cabinets, and it really is. It's a great not only furniture paint but cabinet paint because it dries so hard, and painting cabinets is really just like a piece of furniture. So I'm going to go through the steps that I would do to paint cabinets. Again, it's really similar to furniture. The prep work is a little bit different. We're going to clean it and just make sure we're sanded and cleaned really well before we get started. So these are the cabinets I'm working on today. These are the oak finish, builder grade oak that's in so many houses, and it's really easy to update and really inexpensive too. So with these, the hardware is going to be changed from these knobs to some handles. So we are going to fill the holes. That may or may not be necessary in your case. So you can skip that part if you don't need it. But we're going to change to here. And then we are using driftwood milk paint. So these are going to be a really nice medium gray, and it's just going to look great. So to get things started, first things first, I'm going to remove all of the hardware. Just usually screwdriver or twist thing. And then after we get that all removed, we are going to scrub everything down. And what I'm going to use, this is a little different than furniture, denatured alcohol and water. So mix that up. I mixed it here in a spray bottle. And then I'm just going to use a Scotch pad to really scrub the cabinets. You're going to want to do that both in the kitchen and the bathroom just to get off any grease, any fingerprints, toothpaste, hairspray, anything like that. You just want your cupboards really clean. After we do that, we'll sand with our 220 grit sandpaper, just a real light sanding over the whole surface, and then we will be all prepped and ready to go. These cupboards have interior hinges. Some hinges are on the outside. It's totally up to you if you want them painted or not. If not, definitely remove the doors. These, like I say, are an interior hinge, so you can't really see them. The hardware is all on the inside of the cupboard. So I'm not going to remove the doors in this case. I'm going to leave them all attached, and we're going to paint the surfaces both inside and out as they're attached. So, all right, I'm going to remove the hardware and then get started cleaning. Alright, I'm going to use my denatured alcohol and water mix, so I'm just going to spray it over the cupboard and use my Scotch-Brite pad to just scrub it up. Like I say, this gets off anything you can't see, and it also starts the process of our scuff sanding, so it's kind of a twofold purpose here. I am going to go ahead and sand in addition to this. These cupboards aren't super shiny or anything, but you just want to make sure the paint sticks really well. Okay, now we're going to go back over everything with your sanding block. This is just a sanding sponge. It's 220 grit. You can just use sandpaper also. And we're just going to use same circular motions that you would before painting furniture. Alright, after you're done with sanding, go back over everything and wipe it down with just a damp rag with some warm water, paper towel, something like that. And then let it dry. If you are not going to fill your holes, if your hardware is going to match, then skip this next part. But if you're going to change the hardware, I'm going to use some wood filler, and you just kind of massage the tube and warm it up a little bit. And then all you do is squeeze a good amount into each of the holes. And you're going to kind of squeeze more than you need. And then I just like to use my finger and squish it down in there. And that's what it's going to look like. So it's kind of messy, a little blob there. And then I'm going to let this dry a couple hours or overnight. I'm going to let it dry overnight before I come back and give it a good sanding and make it smooth. Alright, I've left the wood filler to dry overnight, and it's totally dry. It probably doesn't take overnight all the time, a couple hours will usually do it. And then I'm gonna come in with either 120, 220 sandpaper and just sand this down until it's smooth and flush with the cupboard. All right, so it'll look about like that. You can see it just is filling the hole right there. So that is nice and smooth. And so I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing that with all of them, and then just wipe down the dust one more time and get any other dirt or dust off the cupboards. And then we will be ready to paint. Okay, don't forget to tape off any areas that you might need to against where the cupboard hits your walls. So I've done that, and I've sanded down all the doors, so my hardware holes are all filled. And we're just gonna get started painting now. When I do doors or cupboards, I like to do this inside section first, get that painted, and then start doing the smooth parts. And you really wanna follow the wood grain of the door. So go down on each side here and across here, and then just watch, especially for any drips down in these corners. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm going to use a brush. I'm not gonna use a roller. That's one of the great things about this paint. I really feel like it levels out real nice. So we really should not be seeing a lot of brush strokes like you might if you're using a latex paint. And especially with a medium or darker color like this, I should be able to get away with just 2 coats, and that's about it. And you can see the coverage even on this first coat is really nice. And this method that I've showed you would be the same if your cupboards are already painted and you're going to change the colors. You would just scuff sand the cupboards with your 220 sandpaper right over the painted surface, just to give it enough, scratch it up enough so that the paint sticks, and then you would paint right over it after you get it all cleaned up. Okay, there's the first door. Like I said, just go back over these little corners and edges, make sure you don't have any drips or didn't miss any spots in there, and then let it dry. First coat always dries 1 to 2 hours until it's dry to the touch, and then you can do your second coat. So I'm just gonna keep going this way. Once I do the outsides, I can open the cupboards and then do the insides also. So we're just gonna rock and roll just like this. Alright, my first coat has dried, and I have actually left this overnight, but you only need a couple hours for it to dry before you're ready for your second coat of paint. And the coverage on this is really good, so my second coat is really just going to be a touch-up. Go over any spots that you missed, and do it the exact same way you did the first coat. You don't need to sand in between coats of paint. As you can see, it just lays down really nice and flat. You can actually even see the grain through the paint, so it looks really nice. It looks like a professional cabinet finish, which is great. Don't forget, you can, if you're going to come right back to your project, you can just wrap your brush in a plastic bag and seal it up, and that'll keep your paint and your brush wet, so you can come right back to it, and then you only have to wash your brush when you're all the way done with your project. So just a quick tip, then you're not dealing with wet brushes or having to wash out a brush all the time, because he likes to do that. So we are just going to go ahead with our second coat, and like I said, the exact same way again, just start in the cracks and then go on out along the edges. Okay, the cupboards are all dry, and now we're ready to attach our new hardware. So here's the deal with this. When you have a big kitchen, you need to be careful because you're gonna look across and see any imperfections in your cupboards. And sometimes the way the cupboards are hung, the doors might not be perfectly even. So you're gonna have to measure and eye it as you go. Just be mindful of that. They do make little jigs where you can set them, and it'll show you exactly where to put your holes. So look into that if you're doing a whole huge kitchen. This one is a longer piece than before, so we're gonna wanna get it right in the middle of this board here. So we'll just measure with a ruler, so we want it right about 1 inch. And then I'll put it about 1 inch down from the top. So you just line it up and get it nice and straight. Make sure you like the way it looks, and then make a little mark. Little tiny mark, you can't even hardly see it. And then we just drill out with our drill bit. Now make sure this is one of those things you measure twice and drill once, because if you mess it up, you gotta start your process over again here. So just double check again one more time where you're gonna put your holes. Okay, looks good. Okay, and you just take it straight through like that. Okay, I'm gonna double check one more time. This is gonna be where we want it. Okay, looks good. Usually hardware comes with some screws, or you can use, sometimes you can use your old screws from your hardware. It'll be the right length of screw. So we're just gonna attach it like that. I'm just gonna keep going on all the cabinets, and then I will show you the finished product in just a little bit. Look how sharp that looks. Alright, leave your cupboards open for at least 24 hours, and that way they won't stick to the backs. The nice thing about this paint, since it's acrylic and not latex, it doesn't have this sticky feel that you can get sometimes. And these have just been painted within the last couple hours, and they're not sticky. So you're not going to get the same stickiness that you would with latex, but still I would let them dry open just a little bit, just so that the paint hardens all the way, and then they'll be nice and durable. And then after that, you're good to go. You'd clean it with all-purpose cleaner when you need to clean your cupboards. But that's really it. It's a great paint to use not only on furniture, but also cupboards. And it just gives you a really nice look.